Hi everyone, my name is Avram K, and you are watching Alfei Panim Parshas Savo 2026. In Parshas we spoke about war, not a distant geopolitical war, but the battle that takes place inside a person between clarity and confusion, simcha and sadness, straightness and a kind of inner collapse. We suggested that the Torah is not satisfied just with what we do, it cares deeply about how we do it. Kisase hayosher be'enei Hashem, to do upright in the eyes of Hashem, was not a box to check. It meant becoming yosher again, straightened in posture, perception, and in heart, so that when we go out to war, we are already aligned. Savo takes that same idea and brings it to a different arena. Not the battlefield, but the agricultural field. Not soldiers, but farmers. And yet the Torah is teaching the same thing, only now from another angle. The farmer in our parsha has a good year. The trees are heavy with fruit. The danger now is not fear of the enemy, it is something subtler. The quiet conviction of koichi v'yotzim yadi, my own strength and the might of my hand made this success. That is a spiritual war of a different sort. For that moment, the Torah gives us the mitzvah of bikurim, the first fruits. The Mishnah describes the scene. It's very dramatic. The farmers of each town gather together. Their first fruits are arranged in special baskets. An ox goes ahead of them with its horns gilded, its head surrounded with olive leaves. They go up to Yerushalayim accompanied by music and fanfare. The great men of the city come out to greet them. Groups of Kohanim and Leviim stand and sing. When the farmer reaches the Beis HaMikdash, he does not simply drop off the produce. He hands the basket directly to the Kohen. It is lifted up and waved and placed beside the Mizbeach. It's an extraordinary display of honor and ceremony for a simple man holding a basket of figs. But why? The Sefer Chamudei Tzvi notes that the Torah could have commanded us to do the mitzvah of Bikurim without any of this pageantry. Separate your first fruits, send them by UPS, and be yotzei. Instead, everything about this mitzvah is built for kavod. The city honors him, the Beis HaMikdash honors him, the Torah itself gives this moment dramatic weight. What did he do to deserve such honor? Here is the critical point. The farmer is not honored because he has a good field. That is not an achievement. Rain and sunlight and soil are not his achievements. Even his skill at farming is only a gift. They are part of what Hashem has built into him and his world. A person is not praised for what is built into him. We do not give kavod to someone for being born clever or strong or attractive or wealthy. Those things only tell us what a person has, not what a person is. The true kavod begins when the farmer does something that is not automatic. He takes the first, the choicest, and brings it up to Yerushalayim. He places it in the hands of the Kohen and declares in public that everything he has is part of a story that began with exile and helplessness and Hashem's kindness. The honor is not for the fruit. The honor is for the way the fruit is used. This, in a sense, is the same teaching we saw in Kiseitze. There, the Torah taught us that doing mitzvahs without simcha, without joy, was not just a technical failing, it was a diagnosis. Something in the person had already become misaligned, and so defeat became inevitable. Having natural gifts, that is not the end of the story. The crucial question is, do they remain locked in the self, or do they become bikurim, the first and the best, being returned to their source? That is why the procession for bikurim looks like a royal welcome. The Torah is modeling what genuine kavod looks like because the farmer has done something more significant than grow produce. He has publicly declared that I am not the end point of my blessings, I'm merely a conduit. In the language of Yirmiyahu, do not boast about wisdom or strength or wealth. The only legitimate praise a person can earn is when he uses his gifts to get closer to the Almighty. For us, with no first fruits and no Beis HaMikdash, the question remains, what are our bikurim? The field today might be a business or a skill set or a creative ability. The fruits might be money or influence or knowledge or time. We may be naturally persuasive or organized or artistic. All of that is real, all of that is good, but none of that earns the grand procession. The honor begins when we ask, do I give the first and best of my day to Torah or whatever is left? Do I give the best of my money to chesed and tzedakah, or just what remains after my comforts are secured? In Kiseitse, we spoke about the human being who is bent over and how uprightness and shira restore inner order. In Savo, the Chamudei Tzvi shows us another kind of straightening out. Here it is not the spine or the mood, but the direction of resources. Are they inclined inward towards the self, or do they spread outward toward the mikdash, towards Hashem? Tshuva then is not only removing averas, not only removing sin, and not only recovering simcha, it is also the quiet, demanding work of rearranging our gifts, taking stock not just of where we failed, but of where we succeeded, and asking what became of that success. The farmer of Bikurim teaches us that a human being can stand in the center of his own prosperity and refuse to be seduced by it. Instead of imagining himself to be a king, he chooses instead to be a shliach, a messenger. That is why he walks to Yerushalayim surrounded by song and honor. May we be zeicha in these days of Elul to identify our own Bikurim, the first and finest of what Hashem has given us, and to carry them with joy and with straightness back to Hashem. Have a wonderful Shabbos. My name is Avram K., and you're watching Alfei Panim.